Good morning students, welcome back to English 2 class and today we will start chapter number 9, A Long Walk to Freedom. So this is the story of Nelson Mandela, who was African president and he was also leader. He has written his own autobiography, means he has written his own story himself. Okay, this is called autobiography. So here we will see the early life of the former South African president and leader. Nelson Mandela was nothing different from a regular African rural boy. So his story, who was a president, African president, his story is nothing other than or different than a regular African rural boy. Okay, and read on this excerpt from his autobiography, A Long Walk to Freedom, to know more about his childhood. So if we want to know more about his childhood, we will read A Long Walk to Freedom. Okay, this excerpt is taken from his autobiography. Let us see what he has written. The village of Kunu was situated in a narrow grassy valley crisscrossed by clear streams and overlooked by green hills. So the village of Kunu, the name of the village was Kunu, was situated in a narrow grassy valley crisscrossed by clear streams. That means forming a pattern like this and overlooked by green hills. It consisted of no more than a few hundred people who lived in huts, which were beehive-shaped structures of mud walls with a wooden pole in the center holding up a picked grass roof. So their houses, they lived in huts, okay, and their houses were beehive shaped, okay, and there the population was not more than a few hundred people, and in that beehive shaped structure it was made of mud walls, and in the center there was a wooden pole holding up a picked grass roof. I will show you the picture given in the book. Okay, like this, like these huts they used to live. Okay, next, the floor was made of crust and heap. The ant, they make their heaps, you have already seen. So these heaps are being crushed, and the hard dome of excavated means dug out earth above an ant colony and was kept smooth by smearing regularly with fresh cow dung. They used to smear fresh cow dung to make the floor smooth. Okay, as now also village people do this, who live in their houses are made of mud walls, so they do like this. The smoke from the hearth means what? Means the floor of a fireplace. The smoke from the fireplace escaped through the roof, and the only opening was a low doorway one had to stoop to walk through. So there was only one opening, was a low doorway, and they had one had to stoop to walk through, means they have to bend their heads to walk through. And the huts were generally grouped together in a residential area that was some distance away from the maize fields. So their huts were not far away from the maize fields. They used to live together in groups in residential area. Okay, not away from the maize fields. They used to live near the maize fields. There were no roads, only paths through the grass worn away by barefooted boys and girls. There were no roads. They used to walk through the grass, which was worn away by barefooted boys and women. Okay, they used to make path through the grass every day, walking on the grass. Automatically, a path is being made. There were no roads. Okay, the women and children of the village wore blanket dyed in ochre, means what? Pale brownish yellow. So their blankets were dyed in this color, pale brownish yellow, and only the few Christians in the village wore Western style clothing. only few Christian in this village of Kunu or western style clothing. Cattle, sheep, goats and horses grazed together in common pasture. Means in common grassland, green grassland they used to graze together. All the cattle, sheep, goats and horses they used to graze together. Now the land around Kunu had a cluster of trees on a hill. So land of Kunu had cluster of trees on a hill overlooking the village. And the land itself was owned by a state. The land was owned by a state with very few exceptions. African at that time did not enjoy private title to land in South Africa but were tenants paying rent annually to the government. So the people, these Africans, the people of Kunu, they did not have any private land. They were tenants paying rent annually to the government. Okay, they did not have their own land, own private land. So in the area, there were two small primary schools, a general store and a dipping tank to rid the cattle of ticks and diseases. So in this area, there were only two primary schools and a general store. Okay. And a dipping tank. Dipping tank means what? A tank for complete immersion of an animal in an insecticide. Okay. To get rid means relief, to get relief so that the cattle may get relief of ticks. Ticks here means a small wingless insect, means blood sucking insect. To get rid of this insect, blood sucking insect, the kettles were dipped in a tank which was an insecticide. Okay, a tank for complete immersion of an animal in an insecticide so that they get rid of the ticks and the diseases. Okay, now let us move on to the next page. Maize, what we called millis and people in the west call corn. So maize we call it corn and they used to call it millis. Okay, so maize, sorghum, beans and pumpkins form the largest portion of our diet, not because of any inherent preference for these foods, but because the people could not afford anything richer. So their diet consisted of maize, sorghum, beans, pumpkins, not because that they preferred these foods, but because they could not afford anything else, anything richer than this. And the wealthier farmers in our village supplemented their diets with tea, coffee and sugar. And the richer farmers, they used to, so the rich people, they supplemented their diets with coffee, tea, coffee and sugar. But for most of people of Kunu, these were exotic luxuries far beyond their means. So most of the peoples of Kunu, these were means tea, coffee and sugar were luxuries far beyond their means because they were not rich enough to afford tea, coffee and sugar. Okay. The water used for farming, cooking, washing had to be fetched in buckets from streams and springs. Now the waters that they used for farming, cooking and washing, that has to be fetched in buckets and from the streams and springs. You can see in the picture. So they have to fetch the water from the streams or from the springs, and this was women's work indeed. So women used to do fetch the water in buckets. Why? Because Kunu was a village of women and children. Most of the men spent the greater part of the year working on remote farms, in the mines along the reef, the great ridge of gold-bearing rock and shale that forms the southern boundary of Johannesburg. Now these men, they used to work on the remote farms, okay, or in the mines. They used to work on the remote farms or in the mines. So mostly the women used to do all the rest of the work. And when they returned twice in a year. The men of the houses, they returned twice in a year and mainly to pluck their fields. So these men returned twice a year to plug their fields. The hoeing. The hoe is used to dig the earth. Weeding means remove unwanted plants, and harvesting were left to the women. So women used to do all this work, hoeing, weeding, and harvesting, and the women and the children used to do this work. If any of the people in the village knew how to read or write, and the concept of education was still a foreign one to many. So the people of Kunu, they did not get any education. So very few of them used to read and write. Okay, children, this chapter is quite long one. So we will end our class today. In the next class, we will complete the chapter. Okay. So till then, take care. Bye and thank you, children.